Welcome to Graham Kerr's Kitchen. It's really two programs in one. This is a series that appeals to your creative side, food that is sumptuous stuff. How could that be? This is a program about people who want to eat healthy and reduce calories. Actually, it's about food with an aromatic quality that fills the nose. Oh, sure, but it's also about keeping my arteries clean by reducing fat. But it doesn't mean a thing if the food isn't rich and colorful. Maximize the flavor. Okay, but I must have healthy food that I can cook in minutes. I must minimize the risk. So welcome to Graham Kerr's Kitchen, where we get our heads together just for you. Hey, I am so thrilled that you're there because this could be a perfect 10. You know, when they dive in the Olympics and then hardly break the water with a ruffle and everybody goes 10 like this. Well, this could be one of those programs. It's awfully stupid of me to say that before I even begin, but roasted vegetables, the savor of it all, the roasted garlic, the shrimp, the scallops in there. I mean, just all turned into a lemon. Linguine, I mean, you can't really go wrong. I'll tell you how I actually got to know about it. You know, we send out these forms, which are individual food preference lists, and we sent out 10,000 of those. We got back marvelous ideas. And they're really ideas because they're real people, just like you, who've got real memories about wonderful food that you just adore, and you put down all the special things that you like. Well, today, let me introduce you to Lars. Now, Lars Reisdal is, guess what, with an L-A-R-S. Guess where he's from? Norway. He's 100% Norwegian. His mum and dad were, he's first-generation American. He has a phrase which says, stop, look, listen. That's the way he likes to refer to food. He's a great food man because he said to me, I have never cooked the same thing twice. And I know, Lars, what that's like because I'm having to invent and create things all the time, and so I know what that's like. But gee whiz, to be able to say that. And your wife became vegetarian first, Linda, and humanitarian reasons, and then you leapt on the bandwagon, apparently. You're a VV, though, I think you are. I call that a virtual vegetarian. You just like to throw a few things in now and again. I understand. Okay, well, let me have a look at your list because it's a very interesting one. Your national cooking stars, Southeast Asian you like, French, USA Northwest. Hey, thanks for that, by the way, that's the first one. Cooking methods, barbecuing and broiling, and that certainly comes up in this dish you suggested. Garbanzo corn ravioli. Hey, invite me round. I mean, I would like to taste that one. That sounds wonderful. Seasonings, marjoram, well, oregano really, but it's marjoram linkage there. Cayenne, all right. A little bit of a hot taste in the mouth too. Shellfish you like, so we're going to do it with shellfish. Dried cherries. Now, I couldn't get dried cherries into the dish anyway, but as I understand, thing with you putting dried cherries on everything at the present moment. Red bell peppers, and you love roast garlic, vinegar, pastas. So I think you'll notice when we get the dish together that you've got a pretty strong influence in what's going to happen today. Come on through. Well, of course, the important thing is, talk about diving earlier on, that the springboarding business is to jump up and down on some technique, just a basic technique, and then just take other foods that you love and assemble them together, do your own dive virtually into your own circumstances. So what we've got here is the idea of roasting vegetables, well, broiling vegetables in a way. In the old days, it used to be spear it, and it still is, I suppose, spear it on the end of a fork, and if you've got a gas stove, just turn it around on the gas stove and blisters the skin so as to be able to get the skin off, but it also, at that heat, changes the quality of the flesh of the vegetable itself. It caramelizes it. Now, what you could do, instead of having to go through that business, it's rather like a marshmallow, you know, at the camp, don't do it that way. Just chop the top and bottom off, and although I got a large top and bottom off there, that's okay, because I'm going to use the top and bottom for something else. Then just run the knife blade around. Because you're cutting towards you, be very careful when you do that. But just shear off the large fleshy pieces, okay? You've got a nice flat pepper like this, very good in season, and I'll tell you how to take care of them when they're out of season. You can freeze them, actually. Just cut those into flat pieces, like that. Now, since it's the outside of the skin you want to affect, then you sort of deal them like a pack of cards. Just lay them out on top of there on the broiler rack, and then put those underneath broiler. Now, I've got a couple of red ones, well, 3 red ones and 3 yellow ones, small ones, you know. And put those about 4 inches away from the broiler. Put the lid to, and here. Now, these are the ones that are done. And you know they're done when they blister black on the outside. And they really do. They really burn, you know, because you can't get them actually going to the level that they need to go for quality until they are done just like that, you know, really dark. Now, what you do is you take them straight from the broiler whilst they're hot and steaming and just drop them into the bag. Now, when they're in the bag, what happens to them there is that they literally virtually steam cool. But they steam cool with that closed feeling that they've got. And what happens is that you get a piece like this one. This is well and truly black, isn't it? And you just press it down and move your fingers around and pull it back. You can actually have the most wonderful pieces of pepper, of roasted pepper. Okay, put that on one side. And by the way, if all of that seems like too much for you, because this is such a simple recipe, this is an unsolicited testimonial. I've never met this gentleman, but these are fantastic. Made in California. They've even got the little charred bits on it. Very reasonably priced, you know, really competitive. And when you can't get, because they're very expensive peppers, get that. Okay, now let's see how those roasted vegetables get on the menu.
Today on Graham Kerr's Kitchen, linguine with bay scallops and shrimp, a wonderful pasta dish in an extremely bright, aromatic, scallop-based medley of roasted vegetables.
Okay, Lars, come on, let's have a go at it. Thanks very much for the idea, by the way. Zucchini. Now, the peppers, when they're roasted, they can go in, and they take about 20 minutes to be able to blister like that. Well, it really depends upon how strong your broiler is. But zucchini shouldn't take more than 10 minutes. And so what you do is you simply cut the zucchini at the ends off like that, and then just pop them onto a broiler rack. And again, always making sure there's air circulation underneath. Lift it so that the open side of the zucchini is available to the broiler. And just pop that in, preheat it, and just close that up, and it should take 10 minutes. But I've got one of those convection oven things, so that means that it's a convection broiler so that you can actually close the door. It does it quite well. Okay, good. Now, let's try the sauce. Let's try and get that one on the way. I've got here, oh, let me show you this. This is kind of fun. I need half a teaspoonful of oil. Now, watch this. All right, that's a quarter teaspoon. Isn't that fun? And that's half a teaspoonful. So you don't have to fiddle around with this sort of thing, but you can just simply drop it in, the oil in with a squirter. When you know how much actually each squirt is worth, it's really very helpful. All right, so that's quite strong. And we'll drop in then the pieces of pepper. Now, you don't really have to go to fine dice for this. This is like the piece of pepper that I, hacked off the top. If you just bash a knife through it, you can be really on your way. Let me see. I've got a couple of spares. And just lift it up, drop it down. And what happens now in here is in that oil that I've got, and just tossing that about, is beginning to break out some oils from that, the same sort of kind of caramelizing feeling that you get from the broiling, but we're making a basic sauce. And that sauce has also got Roma tomatoes as well in it. Now, Roma can be Romas, or they can also be Viva Italias. Now, they'll be the same kind of shape. They'll be rather more broad-shouldered. If you can imagine a Roma is like this, kind of pear-shaped, and a And a Viva Italia is going to be like this. So you can always remember the Viva Italia is the tomato of choice now because it's got wonderful sweetness to it and can resist all kinds of things. I'm not a gardener really yet, but I'm going to be. And whatever it resists, please believe me, it resists it. All right, now just toss this around. And I need to get some garlic into here, but not garlic as I'm normally accustomed to, just pounding the top. I'm taking a leaf out of Lars's book. Now, Lars is such a keen garlic roaster that what you do, you just take the top off the garlic like that. Make sure that it's a nice piece of garlic, by the way. I keep garlic in this kind of container with little holes in it. And if you keep it there, it'll keep for about 2 weeks. A really good garlic clove. And a little cork thing on the top. Okay, pop it into there, wrap it up, put it into the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 40 minutes. Just that simple. Then you take it out. Just make sure these don't burn. Just keep on giving them a little toss around there like that. Nice to have you with me. Good. Place this down and just open it up. And it should be squishy. And you should put the blade of a knife on the side of it like that. And whee, it's kind of fire all torpedoes. Actually, it came out the back as well. It's just like toothpaste. Isn't it marvelous that you've got new toothpaste things nowadays? So they aren't the old lead tubes that we used to have. I don't know, you probably still, maybe there are some around that still have lead tubes, but anyway, so just take that puree, that roasted puree. Now, why go to that trouble? Well, you go to that trouble for the simple reason that it is mild, it is sweet. It isn't that, hey, I'm here with the garlic feeling. It is round, gorgeous flavor. And you've got to try that, especially with seafood, where you need to have that round off sort of feeling just a little bit more. Okay, now for the tomatoes. Remember, we took the tomato and lent on it in a plastic bag. I only did this, frankly, one day because it seemed to be a little less messy. And anything to cut down on the mess. So I keep a plastic bag for that reason. Just pop it down there. They're all crushed and ready to go. And of course, I wash the bag out and use it again, don't worry. And this is stirred around. And you've just got to put a little bit of spicy in there. Now, because Lars liked this, we just added this because I knew that I could. Here is a 1/4 teaspoonful of pepper flakes. Now, you may say, oh boy, I've tried those before. I couldn't possibly take that. Don't worry. By the time we finish with this, it's just a background flavor, and it just feels wonderful. This is marjoram, same as sort of oregano, if you like. Well, it's a wild marjoram form. And this is 1 teaspoonful of fresh marjoram, although marjoram also dries well, so you could use dried. And stir that about. Now, get all the little bits down from the outside. Lay it all out on the surface. You've got about a medium heat there. And we just pop the lid on the top and just let that go, I think, for the best part of about 5 minutes. Well, 5 to 8 minutes should do fine. All right. Now, let's show you the shellfish idea in the raw. This is a shrimp when it's cooked with its head on. When you get shrimp, which is at the market, it will be like these tigers are here. They'll be bluey green. They're called green, but they're really more blue. And these are about 20 to 30 to the pound. You simply cut around the back like that, just open them up. Just check that if there's got a black line through here that's gritty, there could be a sand gland in there, or the bowel if you prefer, and that can be removed. And you just strip the skin off and you're done. These are some scallops. These are singing scallops, and this is a gonad. This is, or the roe rather, of the scallop, which is left on in Europe but is taken off here. This is a jumbo scallop, and this is a bay scallop. I wouldn't mind betting that you would prefer the jumbo, maybe, because it looks like it's wonderful. This would be the one for me. Bay all the time. I prefer them that way. So I've got a 1/2 pound of bays and a 1/2 pound of shrimp there, and we'll chuck those in just a moment. All right, now, this has had, I know it hasn't had 8 minutes, but hey, come on, can't stand in the way of progress. And so we'll stir that around together and then bring it over. And after 8 minutes, there's a lot of juice which is collected there. And you just simply stir it into the bottom of the pan. Put that pan there. I want that pan later on, so I can put that on the heat. And take my sock sieve thing and just push it all through to get it nice and juice removed. Squeeze out all the juice. You know, the absolutely beautiful thing about this is that there's nothing in there, no water whatsoever. There's the juice from the tomato, and there is all the peppers in there, which were just the tops, you know, virtual trim. And you have got yourself a sauce now in the bottom. Not much, but just enough that you need. All right. First of all, there is a way of making linguine. It's lean guine and fat zucchini. So you can remember that the lean is always the thinner one, the linguine. So with lemon juice and black pepper. Lemon and black pepper. And this is fresh, so it only takes 4 minutes for that to come to the boil and to be ready. Oh, slightly wrong size. There we go. I always put that on the top to help it to come to the boil quickly and disturb it, you know, as you get the pasta going. All right, let's see how these are doing now. Now, just perfect. Just perfect. Look at that. There they are. And they take, as I said, just a little bit less time, normally, than the peppers. And just take those straight from the broiler, straight down into a pan like that. Okay? And then a drop of oil, just a quarter of a teaspoonful of oil, well, maybe half a teaspoonful of oil. And then here are the pieces. Remember how I skinned those at the beginning in the roasting? There are the reds and the yellow peppers just dropped down into the top. And you know, quite apart from the fact that they've got that absolutely fabulous flavor to them because of the caramelizing of the sugars in it, they have also got a kind of slippery smooth. Now, I know that doesn't sound nice, but this is lusciously smooth, beautifully, lusciously smooth feeling to them. All right, now those are in the pan, they're heating up. Put a lid on the top of those. Just make sure that it isn't outrageously high. There we go, just drop that down a little bit there. This has just come to the boil, so always try and lift the lid before it boils all over the stove. And just get this on the heat just a little bit more here because I want to thicken that in just a second. All right. Now, here you don't put the scallops, the bay scallops particularly, and the shrimp in at the same time. Where did I put the thing? A quarter teaspoonful of oil. What you do is you just shoot the shrimp in first. There's just half a pound of those, and of course they're medium-sized ones. I've got one piece of scallop, happened to find its way in there. Gregarious thing, scallop. And so we just toss those together in the pan. You see how they're going red, right, just before your very eyes. That's neat. Okay, so those are going nicely. And here is the sauce. So with the sauce, you just take half a teaspoonful. It's almost minuscule. You think, come on, Graham, you know, what's the point? Half a teaspoonful of arrowroot is added to the sauce. And it's remarkable. I mean, truly remarkable. You just take it away from the heat, always, otherwise you make dumplings. And what happens to this, it helps the sauce to hang together. Gives it a bit of a gloss, which is very good indeed when you're dealing with pasta. All right, now those are going nicely. Just keep tossing those over the top. And now about this stage you can add the scallops, because now they're going to cook just to the right degree together. Whistled around the pan. Actually singing around the pan, one should say, because of the singing scallops. I love that sound of singing scallops. All right, a quarter teaspoonful of dried dill. Dried because it has so much more pungent glory to it. And just a half teaspoonful of lemon juice, just pushed over the top there. And they're almost done. I mean, literally 2 minutes. So let's just take the the pasta here. Just pour off a little of the water first of all, and then drop the rest of that into there. So now that gets to strain, all right? So the water comes away from it, and you can pour that water off. Sometimes I use the warmed bowl in order to be able to, you know, get it all ready. Sauce is ready, this is ready, that's ready. Hee! And all I need is a warm plate. This is such a simple thing to get together, and if you want to, you know, cut some corners, you know how to cut the corners? Simple. Just buy, you know, the peppers already done. All right, now, just get the pasta up here, a nice big, perhaps it's a little too much, no, there we go, that's about right. Put it on the base like that so that all the flavors are going to drench down into it. And then just simply take the sauce, pour it over the top, take the shrimp and everything, dump that on the top of that, and then just ladle it. Look at it. I mean, look, isn't it? Look, wonderful. Just, and glossy and gorgeous with that shrimp just perfectly cooked over the top. Oh, and just a drizzle of the sauce over the top. It looks absolutely wonderful. And what you can do is just a little drop of balsamic vinegar, just a little bit on the top, just like perfume. Come on, see how it eats. Now, oh, the smell of this is just gorgeous. I'm going to compare this with a linguine with a very interesting scallop sauce, which was in one of the major magazines, and we wanted to compare that with something, with peppers. And ours came in at 428 calories versus 748, so down a few hundred. 5 grams of fat. How about that, Lars? And less than 1 gram of saturated fat, which means it's a 10%er, which is great stuff for people to eat. 71 on cholesterol, right down on sodium, and also on carbohydrate as well. Good stuff. I mean, really good stuff. And there, the shrimp, just to spear a little piece of them. Oh, that is so good. Please try it. The whole principle here is the food that you love for the people you love. Springboarding. Okay, well, let's assume for just a moment that, that peppers are in high season and you really enjoy them. Okay, then it's a family thing you can do. I'll show you in a moment how you can actually freeze them. But right now, a great sandwich. And because you've gone to that trouble ahead of time, and here's the extra meal that you can slosh up quickly. Just take a little of the French mustard. Be careful because it's high sodium for anybody who's hypertensive, but oh well, you know. And then we take an ounce of ham. Now, you may say, well, I don't do things like that. I send letters overseas that way, but I don't build sandwiches that way. Well, it really depends on how interested you are to be able to have this exactly as per the numbers that I've done. 2 slices of an imported Swiss low-fat cheese goes on the top. Don't let that deter you, because then you put on the top several pieces. This is called a Suzanne sandwich, by the way, after my senior food associate made it for me one day, and I thought it was the best thing I'd ever eaten my whole life. Okay, and then 2 pieces of fresh basil on the top. A little butter lettuce then is torn and put on the top of that. You put that on top, and you eat that, and you are living. I mean, it's so simple, but it's so wonderful. Now, if you've got the family around, and your red peppers or green or yellow or whatever are really coming down in price, here's something you can do. Put a piece of wax paper, roast the peppers just like before, remove the skin, lay them out on there, and so they don't touch, and then just pop them away in the deep freeze. They'll freeze very quickly, right? And then slide them into a bag, and it's fantastic, you know. all you have to do, and you can leave these out at room temperature to be able to defrost, is just bring out a piece like that, and you're off and running. I mean, there's so many times when I wish that I had roasted peppers like that in a bag. Remember, you know, you can get them in the jar. But there's something rather wonderful, isn't there, when the price is right down on the ground of doing it yourself? Now, I have wanted this one all day. I'm just thinking about this. The whole business of great sandwiches is to have a wonderful series of flavors. Look for a moment, would you, at the inside of that? A little ham, a little cheese, that's low-fat ham and low-fat cheese, a little pepper, and just a little bite. Do you mind? Best sandwich there ever was. God bless. Bye. Well, Lars, Linda, fantastic. Linda, so glad that you gave him the push to be a virtual vegetarian. Marvelous food. Okay, now the washing up. God bless.